Another week, another trading cycles video. Welcome to week 17 of 2023. Before we go over what we predicted might happen this past week here, and then move on to what we predict might happen this upcoming week, I just want to remind you, as always, to keep in mind we do not provide financial advice. All the content that we share is intended for educational purposes only, and always trade the price and not the prediction. All right, let's go over what we predicted might be coming up this past week that we just had, and then we'll move on to what might happen this upcoming week.
Yeah, that's right, Eric. We have had a bit turbulence coming in. Obviously, it's been quite quiet on the markets for the past couple of weeks, and now we start to see some volatility again coming back, which might be good, might not be good. Obviously, depends on the viewpoint, but yes, at least today the markets have been falling, and we are coming to that red zone here as well, which I have put down quite long time ago already. So that is basically the eclipse season. We had solar eclipse on the 20th, yeah, and since then the market has been slowly declining. It might go down up until the 1st, but obviously I have some other ideas there as well, which I want to go through today, and obviously look a bit bigger picture, because we might have missed something here, just looking too closely at the markets. So that's something I want to point out. But yeah, so the prediction that the market might turn from Friday on hasn't been true. So basically it's going against our predictions here at the moment. And the next turning point, which is coming up on Wednesday, 26th, it is quite important one. So it might be now inverted. So that means that this arrow should point down and the next one should point up then. And vice versa. Yeah. So basically this is something we need to look into more closely. But let's come back to that a bit later. So what I wanted to say is that we have followed a couple of long-term cyclical predictions here. One of them we have shown, I can't remember when was it exactly, but we did show it, I believe, if you can remember, Eric.
Yep.
that picture. Yeah. And that was basically last updated in the middle of February. And since then, when I now updated it with the current market data, let me just load it up here. So this is what we have seen. So since mid-February, the market was declining. There was a slight dip up here. So that purple line is a prediction. So yeah, and the black lines are then the price movements. Yeah, and as you can see, it has followed the prediction quite well. Yeah, so up until today, basically, this is updated now, just a moment ago. Yeah. So basically, we are in this little decline here. We should see some price movement up until the beginning of May. And basically, what is coming up in the beginning of May is another Fed meeting. And as we can see from this prediction, the market starts declining then quite heavily from that moment on, up to the second half of May, yeah, basically. So if that stands now correct, and something might then break on the next Fed meeting, which markets doesn't like, then yeah, we might have more declining on the markets coming up in May. So something to be aware of at this point, obviously. And so far, I have followed the 60-year cycle quite closely, and it has been quite helpful. But I feel that the decennial pattern is taking over at the moment. So that red line is the 60-year pattern here. And this light green line that we have been following as well has been now the decennial pattern. So that takes into account all the years that end with number 3. And it's just averaged out here. And that says more closely or indicates to that decline that we are going through at the moment. So basically from midweek, from the 26th, we should see market rising again to the mid next week, somewhere there. All right. So that's what we think at the moment. So looking at a bit bigger picture, and yeah, I'm not sure we should update our lines here on our chart accordingly. So basically, yeah, I feel that this that should be somewhere in the middle here. Either it's going to be 8 or the 1st when the market starts to decline more heavily. So that's something to look into. Let me just correct it here properly. I think that goes up, and that might go up as well. And this is obviously now decline. All right, if that makes sense. And that decline might go up until the 18th of May, or the next turning point coming up is 26th of May. Yeah? All right. So let's see how it really goes, but that's our prediction now based on this cyclical analysis that we have done here. Yeah. All righty. So, and now let's look a bit at gold as well. So that prediction that we had here has been quite helpful, really, because it has followed obviously the price quite closely, which is good. So these turning points have been quite important here. And now we should see some sort of upward movement here up until the 2nd of May at least. So I'm not going to put it any longer than that at the moment. So 2nd of May, there should be another turning point coming up. So we'll have to wait how it goes. But yeah, at the moment there should be an upward pressure for the price of gold. Yeah. In regards Bitcoin, now we thought that it might move up from here, but obviously it's been on sideways movement now, and it is possible that this prediction is now inverted as well. So it might be that we were reading those cyclical analysis incorrectly. That might happen sometimes because obviously cyclical analysis is a bit complicated to read. We can figure out turning points, but the direction of the market might change in those. So it might point us to the wrong direction at that point. So I think that would be more accurate if we said it like that. Yeah. So looks like more like it. Yeah. And that might have to come up as well. So just so that it makes sense to us. All right. And as I'm afraid Bitcoin might start declining in May as well, then, yeah. That goes both ways. As the stock market, so the Bitcoin. All right. So that should be now up to date, which doesn't mean that these prices or predictions might not invert again in the future, because that will happen eventually. And that's what we need to take into account going with those cyclical analysis. All right. So overall market health, as we've seen, the market has been very, very slow at the moment, and nothing has really been going on. So the 50-day moving average of the broad market is still in these lower 40% area. So that still stays there. Yield curve is still negative. Also no movement here. And VIX index have seen now slight raise in volatility today. So yeah, that's I'm not sure really how to read it though, but yeah, as I said, there has been something going on today, so there is slight movement coming up. Alrighty, so let's review those earnings as well. I'm not sure. Did we mention it last week? Did we go through a couple of companies
last week
that had earnings?
I do remember 2 weeks ago we did go over some companies. I'm not too sure if we went through them yet last week though.
All right, so let's see what earnings we got coming up this week. Obviously, there are a couple of companies to keep an eye on. So one of them is MSCI Corporation, and they had announced their earnings this morning already, on Tuesday morning. And earnings surprise was positive. But obviously, according to the market's sentiment at the moment, the price has declined quite heavily. And from cyclical analysis, we can see that, yes, there is a slight decline in this area of time as well. So
matches up.
That matches up, and we should see some sort of raise in this ticker price. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, transits are quite positive so far, which is not true for Microsoft, who will report earnings today after market close. And as we can see, there is a lot of red coming up after that. So that might mean that Microsoft earnings would be negative, or more negative than analysts predicted. Yeah. All right. And another one reporting today after market close is Visa. And Visa's transits are quite positive, so that should be a positive earnings surprise there coming up. Tomorrow, on Wednesday, we have earnings coming up for Boeing. And that is still positive, but early May it turns negative, so that's something to be aware of. There might be positive earnings surprise, but the price might decline afterwards in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. Then also CACI, that should be quite positive. As we can see, there's lots of green coming up, and that has been reflected on the price movement as well. So we expect that the price might turn even higher from here. And also tomorrow is Rollins earnings coming up, which points to quite negative movement in the next coming weeks and months. All right. And on Thursday, a couple of companies to go through. So one of them is Caterpillar. That has been now in negative territory, and we can see that from the price movement in recent weeks as well. So it was somewhere in the first half of April then when we had this negative transit, and that was reflected in the price movement here. Basically from 3rd till 10th, it was declining quite heavily, and we expect that Caterpillar will rise in the next coming weeks and months. All right. So CBRE group, another one coming up here, which might point to quite volatile market. So there are spikes going up and down in quite short time. So yeah, just something to be aware of. And tractor supply company, which we can see turns very positive soon after. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So the earnings surprise might not be so positive or slightly positive, but still in the next coming weeks, it should be quite good stock to keep an eye on. Exactly. So that's about that. And couple of companies we have kept our eye on. Obviously, they are all now in red today, but one of them was closed positive. That was a win. Basically yesterday, yes, it closed above our our target here, which is good. So that's now done. Blooming brands was closed out in stop loss. That's closed as well, although the transits are quite positive for the future. So we need to look and see how it reacts. It might need another try in the future when it turns positive again. TSX, which is Diane Shipping, yeah. So that has been still, well, it's in side movement at the moment, so not much has been going on, but I expect that in May it will turn positive. So that's why we have positive, why we have a long position here on this company as well. Yeah, just have to be patient with that. PVH was quite positive, but now today it has turned negative. So hopefully the market will turn in the next coming days and it won't stop out here. And Primerica has been still in green even after today's turbulent markets. So that's still good. So hopefully we'll see some raise of that price as well. And a couple of names to add here. One of them is Warrior Met Coal, which is symbol HCC. At the moment, it's still negative, and we had quite negative transits here for this ticker as well. So we'll have to wait and see some positive marks coming up in the price movement, and then we can consider entering this ticker. And PLD. And that's something to bear in mind as well. Very positive transits coming up or going on actually, and we do expect that it will turn positive after that slight correction here. So yeah, So that's about it, I think, for this week. So yeah, let's keep an eye on this price movement here. And also keep an eye on the bigger picture that I showed. So that turned out to be quite good guideline there, and hopefully it will stay like that in the future as well to proceed. All right,
perfect. Thank you very much, and thank you for watching and listening. As always, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button, click the bell notification, share this video with your dog, grandma, a neighbor. Send it to whomever you believe might find the information that we share useful. And if you have any questions, if you want any clarifications, or if you like to ask us something specific, leave that in the comment section down below. That's what it's for. Get in touch with us, interact, and click that like button if you haven't already. And we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Exactly. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.